Oh, on a quick note, you should hold your family a little closer, love them a little deeper, and pray a little harder. Because Iran has put out the statement as they were rolling some rather pedestrian missiles down a road in a parade that they are now at war against the United States, Israel, and all of Europe. I mean, the absurdity of the things these people say. I mean, it's can't imagine that they expect anybody to be stupid enough to believe that. And if they really wanted to be at war against all, the Western world, they would write articles of war and put them in a proclamation of declaration of war and submit it to international agencies, usually followed up with some sort of attack. So the reason they're not going to declare war officially is because that could get them attacked again, which they can't defend against again. And that's how that regime's going to go away. That's what's going to happen, is they're going to go too far, and people are going to get too tired of it, and they're going to go level a bunch of the country. So, I mean, it's written in sand. It's the time-honored way of dealing with absolutely lunatic idiots. Somebody so stupid to make a blanket statement like that. But I look forward to it. Okay. During the sanding process, I found that go around this hood pretty stable until you get over here around these big dents. Definitely dimensionally unstable right there where these big dents are. I mean, they're pretty deep, so I can probably just put a board on top and take the sharp end of the pick body hammer and just put about 20, 30 bumps in it, and that'll effectively shrink that metal back to the right size. And also provide a hill and valley area for the fiberglass to adhere to, which would make it really strong. But okay. Hoods aren't supposed to be like that. So that is never gonna get it flat. And it can do this. So look at that. I can barely touch it. So more work to do. It's all good. Okay. Y'all are fixing to learn you some stuff today. You could actually put this into one complete video and then play background music over all the ridiculous things I say, and only include the pertinent things, but they're usually pretty hard to separate. But anyhow, as you may recall, there were two dents in this. That's a real good there. And there's another one there that kind of bleeds into here. And first, when I said, I don't think I'll have to do anything, I can just cover over it. And then I said, well, I may have to put some dimples in it. That was all hopeful thinking. So it is done in the estuary we call oil can. That right there. It comes from the bottom of the oil can. Why has that happened? Because back in the day, old 60s, 70s, and kind of up into the 80s, maybe even early 90s, you could wall up a big dent in this hood, cover over it, and it wouldn't do this. But this is high-strength steel. It's a different game. So when that went in, this came up. Now you have actually two low areas and one very high area. Now our area of repair goes from here all the way out to here. Fortunately today, thinner for the primer will be here, and the first part of this car to receive any paint at all, besides that red stuff I sprayed on there, as they all cover over all of this. And then I will use this, which is something that everybody man must have, but you don't use all that often, and that's a flexible long sander. And so once I have it all covered in primer, you always go at an angle to areas of damage back and forth. If you run back and forth this way, it ain't flat. But you always run at angles. Oh, I mean, if there's one thing you're watching this now, you should remember, it's angles. Never sand straight lines back and forth. You will be sorry. And you can't you could machine finish it, but what you would have is a hell of a lot of filler primer and sanding mini coats to get it to where it should be. So what we have to do, spray this and very lightly so we're not oil canning while we do it. Sand this off and find our highest and lowest spots. And then we have to create a plan for dealing with that. Just pounding it up here won't fix this. So there has to be a solution that fixes this. It's too high. That is really, really low. It seems strong. And if it was this was a 78 Ford pickup, this wouldn't do this at all. It'd be fine. People back then just laid Bond over it, sanded it away. And but the game changed because a 78 Ford pickup, if it gets 80,000 miles on it, you want to get rid of it because it's becoming an oil leaking piece of shit. But now 100,000, I see cars all the time, 150, 200,000 miles. They're still very nice and drivable cars. They don't need the engines or the transmissions rebuild or anything. So now that we have a different level of technology we're dealing with, we have a different metallurgy, and we have to have different strategies for painting the car, even knowing, what's this thing got 80, 100,000 miles on it, even knowing it's got that many miles, and we're going to get at least 5 years, no problem, with the paint job. I mean, no problems whatsoever. I mean, falling off, no sanding marks showing through, no Bondo shrinking, no orange peel, no fucked up shit that didn't get painted right. None of it. It'll be perfect. So then you take a car that's like valuable only for its running gear, and the engine blows up, and you're like, well, that's a beat up piece of shit. It's not worth putting a new engine in. But a nice, shiny, new, perfect body red Volkswagen would easily be worth a new engine. So if we address all the things we need to address during the process of painting it, we're fine with that. It's just, you don't actually see that all that often. But you can see that if you don't do something with it besides just lay filler over it, the wind's going to come across there and it's going to buffet that up and down, and it'll do bad things to the paint sooner or later. So anyway, that's got to be fairly solid like it is up here. There is your night and day difference. Over here, it's kind of okay. So you sand all the way out into the area where it's pretty much okay, and then you sand out that entire area, knowing that this will be the area that we're going to concentrate on. So when the primer gets here, I'll prime just this big ass square right here, and I'll gently block over it, and that's going to allow me to see the high and low spots, and I can develop a strategy for fixing it. Okay, so now we need to take a vote on this. So everybody that thinks I should pound it down, fill it in, make it smooth, raise your hand. For all those that don't think so, raise your hands. Nobody? No, nobody. All right. For all those who want me to knock it down, fill it and smooth it off, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. We're just going to have to pound it in and fill it. It's the democratic way. This has just been one of those days that worked out for me. So I was working on that hood. Started to get kind of windy, too windy. I hadn't had my primer yet. And was on the verge of possibly starting on another panel. I don't necessarily like to do that when I've already got one that's going to be more of a challenge than usual. But so I said, you know what, I'll quit for today. And then it rained. So no matter what happened, I wasn't going to be out there in the rain. I've been struck by lightnings a couple times. Get real gun shy about it. But that's supposed to be funny. But anyway, but then while I'm waiting inside, the thinner for the primer arrived. So that is nothing but awesome. So for tomorrow morning, I can go out there. First thing I'll do is lay that coat of primer on there, give it a light sand, and then I'll be able to, in all likelihood, I mean, there's a high spot. You can see it from here. It's probably hard to see on this phone, but you can see it from here. But probably what I'll do is take the low spot and hold a board over it and take the pick end of a body hammer and beat dents on it upward, and then I'll go to the part that's too high and I'll put a board underneath and I'll beat two tiny little dents downward, and that's going to take the metal. It's got too much metal in the wrong places right now, and that's going to take the metal and stretch it again, get it tight again, and get it closer to the heights it's supposed to be on both sides, as well as provide little peaks and valleys for fiberglass body filler to grab onto, and the resulting, I guess, repair, or the resulting repair will be stronger than the other side. So you start from a negative and you end up in a positive. It would have been more positive if I didn't have to do it, but you know, the key, it really doesn't matter. The key at this point is to make sure that it's going to stay like I want it to be forever, unless she keeps hitting things. I'm gonna do a video tutorial on it for her, and then I'm gonna say, look at this little round thing right in front of the driver's seat, and when you're approaching something that doesn't look like it's gonna move, you can turn this either right or left and hopefully miss it, thereby avoiding yet another dent. And then I'm going to show her that extra little pedal down there, and I'm going to say, even if everything goes straight to hell and turning you cannot avoid about what you're going to run into, step on this thing. I know it's a radical departure from your usual driving style, but step on that thing and the car will stop. With your luck, something will crash into the back of you, but at least you will have made the damage on someone else. Someone else created the problem. And so after that, I also received this 12 volt to 5 volt step down pulse width modulated computer board for the mini computer boards that I'll be running for the compressor. If you don't know what pulse width modulation is, buy a book, read it, think about it for a while, and eventually you'll understand it, or just say, what the fuck? It goes from 12 volt to 5 volts. That's the easier way, I feel. So now I have this covered up area that I can put it in to keep the dust off of it, even though body sanding dust is just the strangest thing. Now, every time you paint a car, dust just gets everywhere. But it goes away seemingly on its own. It's not regular dust, not regular dirt. It's actually a solid, so there we go. We'll tuck that in there. It's actually a solid, so it will just go away. You'll see it like all here and a dusting of it everywhere, but you don't have to clean it out of anything. It's like here, you can see this is much closer to the problem because I've been sanding right there, but all this stuff will get sanding dust on it and it will hurt nothing. Now, primer is another matter and paint's another matter, but as far as the dust that comes off there, I don't know why, but it just goes away after a while. You don't have to make a particular effort to have that happen. So there we go. So I'm done for the day and ready to take off tomorrow morning. This is like going really, really well. Makes me very, very happy.